Welcome back to Shooting It Straight. I'm Pistol Pete here with Ricky Revolver.
How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? We got episode 1-1. You make the first one, you get to shoot the second, buddy.
That's right. All right, so, did you have a good Easter?
Did. You know, like we kind of told everybody I was going to be doing the old first camping excursion, the old maiden voyage with the old camper. So, yeah, we were out Easter morning. We let the boy pick out some Easter eggs.
In the wild?
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. Old school.
So for those of you that don't know, that hadn't listened to Ricky's big purchase, he wanted a wall tent.
Yes. Still going to get a wall tent.
Still going to get a wall tent, but really wanted that wall tent. And Helen put the kibosh on the wall tent.
Real quick.
And she wanted what? She wanted the tent trailer.
She wanted the pop-up, like the pop-up tent.
Basically like a tent just off the ground.
The canvas
and it takes tires
ones.
And you got to license it and all that stupid shit.
Right.
Gotcha. So they ended up settling on a really nice...
It's a 17-foot livable, towable,
towable.
travel trailer or travel camper.
Yeah, nice. It's got the heater. It's got
heater.
Roof, keeps you warm.
Yeah, roof. Don't have the AC, but it's got the microwave, shower.
They can put their AC in later.
I'm not too worried about the AC, but shower, toilet, double sink kitchen, 2-burner stove, bunk beds.
So basically, it's a lot better than a wall tent.
That bypass system, though.
Ooh, yeah.
That was a real witch.
That's in a shitty spot, too.
Yeah, for me. If I'm saying it's in a bad spot, yeah.
So, basically, you got the ultimate marriage test. Marriage strength test, I like to call it.
Yep.
And since you just kind of went in all out. You guys got it. Took it out for the first time.
Never towed anything in my life. Not even a boat.
Truck ran like shit when you brought it home.
Real
Had to
sketchy.
Get that ironed out.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying that your backing skills were not exactly...
We ain't up to par.
And before you went, I told you that this was going to be the ultimate... We'll see if you're still married when you come back. Because you were leaving for what, 3-4 days?
Yeah, we were... So what, we left Saturday and we came back Tuesday.
Okay, so before you went, you got the truck dialed, at least you thought. I mean, that had to have been in the back of your mind that it was still going to tow like shit.
That's that was number one.
Number one, okay, so...
Oh yeah, I'm thinking pass, and I'm thinking
yeah, and you had to go over
towable
a pass.
Truck.
You had to go a ways.
And they're just going, oh yeah, let's just load everything in here. Keep piling it in.
Yeah, Helen made like 3 trips just shoving shit into that thing.
Oh yeah.
And then, so in the back of your mind, well, in the back of my mind for sure, I'm thinking you got an hour and a half of just straight getting the business. That truck didn't run right. Not to mention, once you get there, like I said, your backing skills were not perfect, so it might take you a couple of times. I assumed that Helen was going to, while trying to direct you back, be standing right in the way where you couldn't see her. I remember I told you she gives you the one finger salute. That means she's done listening.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. I remember the pre-warning from you and Margaret.
Yeah, you called me when we were working on my Jeep, and you said that all those things we talked about happened. So tell us about it.
So yeah, like I said, we went Saturday to Tuesday. So Saturday we got a little bit later of a start because it was the boys' first t-ball practice. So we had t-ball in the morning. So we didn't leave. I don't think we didn't pull out of the fence with hooked up till 12:45, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, how'd that go? Because you did tell me
I wanted to be out a lot earlier.
Well, yeah,
what I wanted.
Not only that, but you did tell me when you called me to say you had rolled out because I wasn't home, that the enjoyment had already started at the hookup process. So how'd that go?
Oh yeah, I was just kind of giving you a time frame of when I was leaving out. So backing up, so we get there, and when I'm just pulling in, I ain't even getting close to backing up, not even attempting nothing like that. I'm like, okay, just stay, like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just got to be in the vicinity of the ball, because if it's on there, I can lower down and it'll fall on there.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be perfect. And
not perfect, but does kind of have to, because our trailer's big and it's heavy.
Oh, right.
And it's almost got to be perfect because there's no manipulating that thing at all. Like, you have to have it touching that ball so it will fall down where it wants to lock it in.
Yeah, yours is a bit bigger than mine.
And we've been at it several years, and still, from time to time, that portion of getting rehooked, that's why I want a motorhome. That's half the goddamn battle.
Oh, I know. That's all I was thinking about when I was towing that thing. I was like, yeah.
And my truck's loud.
Pete's Pie, right?
My truck's loud at the because it's diesel, so I can hear it. She's back there talking like this while I'm trying to say something, and she's pointing on the hand movements are almost perfect, but it's not like, you want me to go that way a little, tell me to keep going that way as I'm coming back. Not when you give me the all clear, that's like straighten up and come straight back where you're at right now. Well, then we're off. Then I'll pull forward once it's all, she's back there giving me the no good when I'm like thinking that we're like getting close. So that means we're way off, and I'll just drop it back and forward and pull forward and reset and give her another chance, which pisses her off at the same time because now we got to start the process all over. So,
man, that, I don't want to be like sexist or anything, or anything like that, but is that really a girl thing? Because I swear Margaret and Helen are standing side by side when I was trying to back that bugger up, looking at Helen. I swear they're standing side by side out there because they must have been doing the same exact thing. You describing it sounds like you were there.
Because I've been there, and like I said, we've been at it for several years.
Oh, man, that is just crazy. It's crazy.
That's why I just need a motorhome. You just drop that bugger and drive and roll out.
I know. We even looked at a couple of them when we saw that, but not yet. Not yet. But, yeah, so backing up. So pulling into the fence, I was just like, just give me the vicinity. We can get it on there if it's just around it. You don't have to be dead perfect, because that's what she wants. She wants to be looking dead at the ball. She wants it to be boom, yeah. Which is like, all right, that's cool.
I mean, dream big for sure.
But it's gonna be rough going.
I'm guessing it was unobtainable.
Yeah, rough going. Sure. So, anyways, we're, I'm starting to back up.
Before you go too far, though, now imagine trying to do it over a diesel engine where you can't hear anything either one of you are saying.
Well, and as I was like, don't, and let's not yell. Like, so if I'm like, hey, I can't see it, don't be like, okay, just go left. Don't scream.
Yeah, because now you're just drawing the attention of my neighbors and they're watching.
Exactly. I was like, this ain't our place, and one, I wouldn't want to do it at our own place.
Oh, no.
I definitely don't want it at someone else's house.
I don't care. I definitely don't care. I'm just saying that then you're just drawing all my neighbors' attention, so now you got an audience.
I don't need nobody's attention right now. I need nobody's.
Because I told you, too, in the beginning, the best part is, I swear, when you go camping, if you're not, like, off the grid and you're at, like, some sort of resort or something, those guys that have been there and checked in and clocked in and all that, it's like a boat launch. When you see those guys leaning up against the gangway and drinking a beer or whatever like that, they're not there for themselves. They're there waiting for you to pull in so you can watch. Just like you go to one of those resorts, and as soon as they hear someone come around that corner, it's time to grab your drink and get up and go watch the show.
You just hear a bunch of... everybody starts sitting down.
Oh, yeah, it's time.
Like, what, everybody opened a beer at the same time? Okay, that's weird.
All right, go.
so I'm start backing up, right? And she's in the mirror, so I'm looking and I'm seeing her on passenger side, and I'm looking at her, and I see her start ducking. And she's starting to duck, and I just see nothing.
You see arm,
no
wrist,
hand. I can just be like fingertips, just barely tipping the mirrors. I guess I should have put the extensions on. I might have been able to see her, and I'm like, okay, I can't see you. I don't know where you're at. I don't want to hit you. And I just hear something yell, and I'm like, so I put it in park. I was like, I can't hear you yelling.
Not when you're down by the ground with your face.
Just stand a little bit more where I can see you. And she's like, well, if you just want to do it yourself, then just do it yourself.
If I could do it myself, I would. We'd be gone by now.
I was like, whoa, okay. We're getting real. Camping, here we come.
And you haven't even left yet?
Ain't even left yet. So, I kind of just, it was straight enough. I just didn't, I just had to come back more.
Sure.
So I was like, okay, I got like 3 feet. So I hopped in, kind of left the door open and kind of saw where I was at. Estimated, okay, stopped. Put her in park, hop back out, 6 inches. Okay. Back up a little bit more. Perfect. So, I'm starting to give her the old cranky crank, getting her down on the ball, and they're just loading more stuff into the... we came with a truckload more to put in there.
So that would have been 4 trips.
4 total trips.
Because she was already here 3 times prior.
Forgot the keys once.
Yeah, which is a good time. Which, that was a little bit of a disagreement on that from what I remember correctly. And I think that my advice is put the keys to the camper in all affiliated locks on the truck keys, because you're not taking that thing anywhere without the truck. So if you have the truck, you have all necessary keys for anything that you might run into.
Goes with the hitch, goes with anything that is required to get that thing in your camper or truck and camper to point A to point B.
Exactly.
Should all be within the same vicinity.
Exactly.
Okay, so we think alike.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're hooked up now, right?
Yeah. So I'm dropping her down. I'm getting ready to cross the chains and everything. Well, one thing I didn't tell you I was going to ask you is, how do you get corrosion on your 7-way?
Well, typically you get that from things that come off the road and moisture and water and things like that in there. But in your experience, when you first mentioned that to me, what intrigued me about that was that's brand new, right?
Correct.
Like brand new as of
That's
when you
brand
brought
new
it home.
from inside to wiring to rear end.
So I'm not
Brand
really
new.
sure how that happens in a 7-day process, because it takes corrosion a minute to build up. And it's usually over
Right.
time. So the fact that they put that on new is... Did that cause you another issue?
So
I left everything unlocked when I left, so you could have used whatever.
I know. So I didn't want to snoop. So I like rolled up the I rolled the extension cord, hung on the fence and stuff, and then unplugged it, and then so when I'm crossing everything, and she's like, "Well, did you guys hook up the battery?" It's like, "Yeah, we hooked up the battery, and then we plugged it in so it charged."
Yeah, you were good.
Fridge cold. Like we're ready to rock and roll. All we gotta do is unplug it, make sure the fridge kicks on with the propane, and we're rocking and rolling. And so I had the chains crossed and everything, and I went to plug in the 7-way, and I popped open the lid, and I was like, WTF, mate? What's up with all this corrosion? Why am I surrounded with corrosion? It's everywhere. Does everything I touch turn into corrosion? So now I'm to the point where if I buy anything, if I get anything from anybody, I'm opening that bad bugger up, because I'm sure it ain't new or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, for those of you listening,
Get out of here
for those
with
of you
that.
listening, he brought his brand new trailer home and parked it, and it had a corroded battery.
Yes, thanks to you for looking, and because I didn't even think of unhooking the negative, because we have that CO2 sensor in there. Or carbon, CO2
it fires
sensor.
back up when you...
Yeah, so you're like, oh, yeah, it's got that some corrosion. Like, oh, that nice new battery was all full of corrosion. But, so, I got everything all hooked up, and I cleaned it out. I had... I don't know, I just kind of like blew it all out of there and like wiped it out of there, and I jammed the plug in into it, and I was like, is the brake controller on? And she's like, yeah, I think so. And I was like, okay. So I walked up there, and she's like looking at the overdrive button. I'm like, no, this is the brake controller. I was like, yeah, that green button, we're ready to rock and roll. So unhooked it, round up the cord, put that in the garage, and then I heard that dee dee dee, and I was like, what? Maybe it's the neighbors. Dee dee dee. Like, okay, it's too close. Walked about where the back of the camper is. Dee dee dee. Like, oh, great. Okay, usually beeping noises are great noises, so that's when I call you, and I'm like, I got some beeping noises going on, and you're like, well, flip your gas button.
Yeah, I was just telling you your fridge had no...
Right, flick the gas button, and then I had to reset it like 3 times, because you could hear it going... And then it wouldn't go.
It takes a while to get that system all primed, so it'll fire on its own.
Push it again, and I'm like... And she's like tripping. She's like, oh my God, I just put all the stuff in the fridge. And so I'm just like, getting it from her, and I'm just hearing... Dee-dee-dee, and I'm just like...
That was the best part, because I could see you just getting it from her, and at the same time while you're trying to figure it out, it's just going beep, beep, beep.
Oh, yeah. And it wasn't like a, just a beep, beep, beep. It was just quick 3 bursts. And then it stopped. And then I'd turn it off, turn it back on. And then, all right, maybe we're good. Close it up. Like, okay, we're good. I was like 4th try. So I'm like, all right, let's roll out of here. And so that's when my nerves started to kick in a little bit, because now it's up to moi. I snapped the extensions on, got them all situated perfect, and we start rolling out, which I think I need to play with that brake controller a little bit.
Yeah, usually you do.
Yeah, I feel like I need to. It does not like when I brake, it doesn't like, like try to lock up on me or nothing, but It just feels like it needs to be played with. But anyway, so, we pull out, close the gate, everything, start ripping out of here on the road, no problem, overdrive off, and I had, I took the truck in for a tune-up, had a bad coil, and the day before, I was, I wrapped those exhaust pipe little covers that Master T made for me that we put on there. I wrapped those where I could see the holes with it was like fiberglass wrap from the auto store.
Yeah, because they were just laying on the ground that last time you walked out of work, right? So you had to patch it again, because he made the one patch and then he had to patch it again.
Yeah, he had to patch the backside because the backside broke where the bracket was on the muffler or on the exhaust pipe.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like, and when you got your exhaust pipe on the ground, it's not good.
No,
it's never a good situation. so I wrapped all that and everything, so we're going down Sullivan, doing good, feeling good, get on the freeway, and there wasn't as many people out as I thought there would be, like around 12:45, 1 o'clock. So I'm like, okay, cool. So we get on, we get off Sullivan onto the freeway. Okay, I get over in the middle lane. All right, there's nobody on my keister.
Now you're doing it.
Nothing. Now we're good, and I'm halfway in it. I'm not to the floor. I'm halfway in it, and we're going 65. And I'm just like, okay, feel a little bit better there. Wipe the sweat off my forehead. Feel a little bit better.
At least you can do 65 now.
Last time I had to be on it to the floor, and I was barely making 65, and it wasn't shifting, and I knew something was wrong. But no, you'll probably be doing that speed pulling up the hill. This doesn't seem right as a V8. I should be pulling this thing. I know it's 3,000 pounds, but I should be pulling it fairly, with ease. So, we start going, and I'm like, all right, 65. I think 65 feels good. So we're just cruising along, and those mirror extensions are awesome when you get those things dialed in. Let me tell you, that will make a world of difference.
Well, so that brings the next complication usually, though, is getting the mirror dialed in. Like if you don't have power mirrors,
right?
We don't necessarily have that issue because I have power mirrors, so they're a lot easier to dial. But a little bit one way to you is a lot different than a little bit one way to her.
So yours extend out just like your regular mirror just extends out?
Yeah, well, like flips out, and then the mirror adjustments are all power. So to turn the mirror so you can see and whatever is all power. So I don't have to ever do that. But I have experienced, not myself, I've witnessed some experiences of having a female adjust the mirror for you. So I only imagine that could have been your next issue.
I'm just going to tell you from maybe not the most stressful time in my life, but it's at least top 3, was on the way back from when we bought the camper.
So you already
on
went
the way
through the
here.
mirror adjustment
Oh
issue.
yeah,
okay.
bud.
So how'd that go?
Oh yeah, bud. That, like I said, that was a very bad trip coming to here just to park it. When I parked it and unhooked, I felt 3,000 pounds come off my shoulders.
Yeah. Because the mirror adjustment's like, whoa.
Oh, man, that will make or break you right there. Mm. That will make or break your day. So, a little sneak peek pro tip. When you get your mirrors snapped on, if you have to do like me and they're just the little snap-on extension mirrors, little sneak peek. take the time, set them babies perfect to where you're rolling with them good, to where you can see pretty good on, you can see the side of the camper, and you can see side perfect and almost kind of on the back side of it. So, had it set right when you were here on this flat stretch right here.
Yeah.
I had this baby, I guess it'd be right here.
Yeah.
I had it, I parked it, and I was like, all right, I got mine set. I was like, Helen, you want to just push it in just a little bit, and it should be good. And like I said, we already went through this, so it was just a little bit, and we're good. We're rocking and rolling.
So she got the little bit down after that. Man.
Yes, because on the way here, when I was like, okay, because I had mine good. I was okay on the side, and I was like, okay, just a little bit inside, and she moved it in, and it was like, whoa. And I'm looking like almost at the left side of the front of the camper, and I'm like, okay, that's way too far. Okay, go out a little bit. And she pushes it out, and then I'm looking at like trees and brush and branches flying by, and other cars like way on their passengers. I'm like, okay, that's way too far. I was like, you can come in and down just a hair, and then it's like just right at the ground. I'm like, okay, that's good.
Yep,
I can see the side of the
Yeah.
camper. That's okay. I can see the wheels. We're good. Oh yeah, that was not a good trip. That was not a good trip.
At least you got that out of the way, because after you go through the hookup and tensions are a little high.
I was still worried about the backing up part.
All right, so, the good news is that you had a little bit of a rip to think about how that was going to work out for you. You had to just get over the pass. You were concerned about that.
So, yeah, as you and Margaret both know, the night before we, recorded, and I told you guys, I'm just freaked out about that pass. Once I hit the bottom, that's when it's going to be like that. When you get in the movies where just like that intense music comes in, it's just like... Dum, dum, dum,
Yeah, the weather was fine, and
Yeah, thankfully. Because it would have been a lot worse if it wasn't. It would have been a lot worse.
So you got all the time. You got the trip on down the freeway to think about it. The pass sounded like it went all right. The tune-up was worth the money.
Yep. So we got going into the pass, and it was 50, 55. I could go pretty easily, and if I got on it, I could go 60, 65 if I needed to pass somebody. But I just felt like that was really getting, that was to the floor. That was hard.
Yeah.
So I was just like 50, 55. We're gonna get there. I'm chill as a cucumber right now, and I was. You can only imagine how I felt just driving. Like, yep, I am chill as a cucumber going 55 up this freeway or up this pass right now. No sweat.
So then you get down.
Yeah.
Now tell us about. Because here's where the real fun starts. Your backup skills weren't exactly on.
Well,
we have a hand signal issue already.
So when we came down the other side of the pass, right, and we came off of the pass, the road narrows quite a bit. So you switch her down to a 2-laner instead of your typical 4-lane with a lot of room, and you don't have a whole lot of room. So I got kind of a little nervous again because I got comfortable on the freeway.
Yeah.
So I got a little nervous again because then the only thing I can think of is I'm seeing branches over top. And I'm thinking Pete's going, don't let one of them branches knock off one of them little things on the side. You're going to get water running right down your seam and it's toast. So I'm just like, oh gosh. She's like, you always hug a line. Why do you hug a line? I'm like, well, I'm not looking to get the wheel sucked off the side of the road, and then I'm in all sorts of world hurt.
Once that happens, it's all over for you. That's where the camping trip goes from a camping trip to a yard sale.
Yeah, real quick.
Those 4 trips she made with shit into the camper are now scattered all over the road. Providing everyone makes it out all right, that's just where you set up shop.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, well, I guess we're going to stay here till Tuesday.
Yeah. All right.
So we get along there. We stop to get a couple drinks. Here's a pro tip for you, though.
Legitimately, when she starts giving you the ration of shit, that's when you just ask her if she wants to do it herself.
Oh, I asked her. I was like, "Do you want to try? Do you want to pull this thing?" Oh yeah, I'll drive it. No, you ain't driving it. I guarantee that first time she feels that right on the hitch, all that weight kind of bounce a little bit. Oh yeah.
Skill-tail sounds expensive.
It made my cheeks pucker up, so I can only imagine.
All right. So, take us through what happened when you got to where you're going to set this thing up, because that's where
the fun began again.
Exactly.
Yep. So, like I said, we stop. We're going up there, and I see the turn. And then that's when, back of your head, back up.
It's about to get crazy.
Here you go. So we pull up there, and there was 5 campers, 5 individual campers that were already there. So we pull up there, and there's a guy immediately right when you get there, right to your right. 3 open spots, 2 more campers, and then one way at the very end, which would be a pop-up tent, because you have to park vertically instead of horizontal.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then there's another camper across, and then where we ended up parking, there was a camper with the wall tent. And so she's like, well, what's at the very end? And I was like, I don't know. There might be one down there, but I don't know if past the mobile home. So, and she drove down there, and I couldn't see past it. Well, there was one bass there, and I drove like an idiot instead of walking.
Yes.
So I drove. So there I made, boom, one mistake. Chalked it up. I was like, and I thought that to myself because I didn't want to get too riled up and try to put myself in a bad funk and try to make backing up even worse. So we get down there, and I'm like, oh, man. I was like, there's already one there. And I was like, we're not parking there. That is way too unlevel for the length we got. I was like, I gotta back her up. We got to go back into one of those other ones. So, I started backing up, and I kept her pretty straight, and I was like, well, if you want to hop out and, just kind of keep me in between, I can't see that pole now, where the electrical pole was, where you plug in water, pipes, all that. I couldn't see it anymore. So, I was like, if you can just let me know where those are at, I'll be golden. So, get her back in reverse. I'm watching, and she's doing the finger thing. Okay, all right. So I keep turning it, and then I got to go back again because I forget that it's opposite to whip the trailer around. So, and she's like, oh, no, the other way. So I'm like, I know. So I'm giving her a little bit. So it starts whipping around. And she's like, okay, keep coming. And she's like, okay, come back. Okay. Nope, that's not good. And I'm like, not good as in I'm going to hit the pole? Or she's like, no, you just go straight out and then get another shot at it. And I'm like, okay. So I whipped out, and then, I can't go all the way out because there's people there.
Yeah.
So I'm, going as far as I can without hitting their bench and table that they have by their wall tent. So I'm, I kind of turn up a little bit and start backing up again. Well, and it's like I'm going to get it down to where my brain remembers that it's opposite turning to turn the camper around than it is to just back up your truck.
Sure.
Because I couldn't get it. And I kept going, and she's like, no, the other way. And there was only, thankfully, there was only one camper, like one,
one set
family
of
there.
One set,
one family of the campers.
So you only had
there.
Yeah, so there was only limited amount of people.
And it was only the guy that was there. So it was like, really, I got the best of both worlds because there's only one person here, and if I really need help, I'm sure he's going to come out and he's going to help me eventually. So
I was going to say, you're usually in the clear till someone offers to do it for you. That's when you really were in bad shape.
Yes, I would never let someone else do it for me because I have to do it, or else I ain't ever going to do it.
Yeah.
So, I'm backing up, forward, backing up. No, I said the other way. Backing up. No, this way and back. And there was one point where I got it like right where she wanted it. And she's like, it's just a little bit turned this way. Can you just like scoot it this way? And I'm telling you, the camper's like this. And my truck's like this. I'm almost making a 90-degree angle. And I'm like, am I almost jackknifing? Like, I feel like I'm gonna just smoke the front of this camper. I've never turned it this sharp. And she's like, I think you're okay. And I gave it a little bit. She's like, no, okay, that's good. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, okay. And I mean, this is like 30 minutes in. And I'm way deep into it. I'm pouring sweat. I'm getting frustrated. I was like, okay. So I pull out.
All the way?
Pull all the way out. Gave up everything that we want. And I just backed up. I backed up all the way towards the freaking entrance. All the way to the entrance. And the guy's like, yeah. He's like, because by that time, he's like, if you would have just doing, started from the beginning, you would have been able to see the pole, and then you would have been pretty much golden.
Yeah.
Because then you would have been able to see it and no sweat. But you went down and then tried to come in, you shot yourself in the foot. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, okay, makes sense. So that's when I was like, screw it. I just backed up all the way out. And so I pull into where I could see it, and I start backing up. And I'm like, okay, I can't see where you at. And I'm looking on my side, and then I look over on the passenger side, and I see her by the picnic table doing this.
Oh, yeah.
Arms crossed.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. And I'm like, okay, well, she's checked out.
That's what happens. That's what happens usually when I get the one finger salute at the hookup process. Is when I get all the way to where I think I'm gonna be, and then she's giving me the nope, no good in the mirror, and I'm like, then I just pull all the way forward to restart because I'm gonna let her try it again, and then usually that's when I get the one finger, and that's usually when you know.
Yeah, when you know you're on an island. It's just you out there.
All right, so she's just chilling on the picnic table at this point.
Oh, well, she's checked out.
Yep.
So
no help for you.
Nope. I'm just
no
like,
help for
right.
Vicky.
So I just keep going, and you know what? I had to back up a couple times and go forward, and then I had it to where I could just go forward, and I had it perfect dead straight, right where I needed to be. And then, by this time, 45 minutes in, I'm getting pretty good at just going straight.
Yeah.
It's when I can't see anything and got to start turning it. That's when just throw everything out the window because it's all up in the air.
Practice makes perfect.
Oh, yeah. So, I finally got it straight back and boom. Finally got it set up, or finally got it backed up to where we wanted to be. Threw the chocks underneath that bad bugger and had my little...
Well, was it? Did you get lucky and it was level? Because that's always a good time too. When you get it backed up where you think you want it, but then now I've got to pull forward or go back onto some blocks to make it good.
Level-ish. So I got lucky because I didn't think of that. I didn't think of throwing the level on because I was happy with Victorious of backing up and getting the thing there.
You made it.
Oh yeah. I was like, we're there. So I didn't even think of that. Like we saw the night before, I had those little bubbles that I was going to place on the front. Well, I thought the white was peel off back. Well, that's just good old white plastic. No tape. So, no level that I had set up anyways. But, so, I'm uncranking it, unhooking it, and, taking all the bars off and everything. And drop it down. And, I pull the truck out, drop it down lower. And that's when my dad showed up, and he's like, oh, you guys made it here. That's a nice camper. It's pretty nice. I was like, yeah, it's pretty sweet for the price and everything. And I was like, yeah, it's a little stressful to get it here, but we're here, and I ain't got to leave right away. So thankfully,
she ain't walking home.
Yeah, and we're still married, so that's a good thing. And we start getting everything unpacked. Everything like that, and start getting it cranked down. And so my dad's like, well, did you get her pretty level? And I was like, oh yeah, level. I forgot about that gig. And he's like, well, do you have a level? I was like, well, I've got these bubbles. And he's like, well, just throw it on your kitchen counter and throw it on your tow hitch and just set it on there. Mm-hmm. And luckily, our sideways, we were just barely off. Like the bubble was just a little bit out of the center. So we got lucky that way, but it was still like way high. So I'm like out there, and it was almost like dipping way down. I'm like, all right, we're level. Put down the stabilizers. Let's go. Cranking away. Boom.
You got to get that little drill attachment for those.
See, my parents gave me one that's, like that socket that's got like a bunch of little pins in it, and you can get like a hook or... number 10
yeah, it was like
or
the Gator back in the day. They had it on the TV.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different sockets out of it. Yeah, so they gave me one of those. I don't know if it's big enough, but I'm hoping it is, because then I can just hook up my drill to it and zzz, done, baby.
That's another reason I want a motorhome. You just put the jacks down and it levels itself.
Yeah, that's
what another good time is that usually tests the patience? When she tells you, oh yeah, it's level. And you've done it several times, and so everything's good. So you're like, well, screw it. You get out, you unhook it. Everything's unhooked. you're at some point in time digging things out, arguing about something that someone forgot, things like that. You know, doing the pre-weekend hucklebuck. And you realize that it's really not that level. So instead of hooking back up and going through the process again of trying to figure it out, I decided, you know what's way easier than that? You get the jack out from underneath your rear seat. Get the jack out from underneath the rear seat for changing the flat and just jack it up and slide the blocks under it and set it down on them.
And how did that go?
It went smooth. Because you know why? You can do that by yourself.
Oh my god.
So, speaking of that, did you guys forget anything in the 4 trips? Because that's always a good time.
So, yeah, that was another learning thing. We figured out what we want to bring and what we don't need to bring so much of. But, you know, I just wanted to say, hey, you want to load it up? Fine. Let's do it. Load it up.
Yep. Throw it in. Whatever.
Yep. But, you know, I left the generator and the solar panel at home because why bring it if you got power?
Yeah, if you can plug it in, you're good.
Yeah.
Although I did learn that the hard way one time. It was pretty cold, too. And I remember that old Pete drank too many beers and went to bed. And at some point in the middle of the night, there was a power outage. And I woke up pretty cold. All the lights were on. Everything drained. I think that I had a bad battery to begin with. Because there's no reason I should have drained that much power that quickly. I woke up and I was trying to figure out why the furnace wasn't kicking on. It was like the middle of the night. I'm half asleep.
Oh, yeah.
And I go outside and I'm like messing around at the plug-in and whatnot. And I'm like, wait a second. That sounds a lot like motorhome generators. You don't hear motorhome generators here because everybody has power. So then I realized after some further investigation that the power was out and I didn't have my generator. So old Pete and Margaret got to be cold for a while until the power came back on. And I go down there the next day and I'm like, hey, did the power go out last night? Oh, yeah, it was the scheduled outage. Well, that would have been real nice for you to tell me about because the whole time she's giving me well, did you try this? Well, did you try that? Did you try this? Yeah, I tried it all. You want to try? Well, not really. I'm kind of cold. Me too.
Oh.
So sometimes it's nice to have the generator as well. I mean, I still don't do it. I risk it, but maybe something that you're into. That's good times too, is when you get there and you realize that you forgot something. We left here a couple of years ago and we had like a 6 or 7 hour rip on the freeway to get where we were going. And before we left, I specifically sent Margaret to the Costco to get specific burgers that I wanted to take. You know, the big long stack of them, whatever. I said beforehand, because like I said, even though we've been doing it for so long, you'll still find something that just grinds your gears when you leave to go on a trip.
I believe it.
So I said, let's go to Costco when we're getting the groceries and get these burgers so that we have everything so that when we get home, we roll out. No, I don't want to go anywhere else. I'll do it tomorrow after work. Are you gonna do it tomorrow after work? Because we really need those. I don't want to be traipsing all over through cities between here and there trying to find what I need when I want it. No, I'll do it tomorrow. Okay, sounds good. She did do it tomorrow. We legitimately probably get about an hour from home and I say, hey, you throw those burgers in the freezer? Oh no, I forgot. Instantly on a 1 to 10 piss scale, 10 being the most pissed, I instantly was about a 14. I legitimately sent you to the store for one specific item to put in one specific spot that I said we could do together so that this didn't happen, and we didn't Well, it's fine. We can just stop and get some. No, I don't just want to stop and get some wherever I can. I wanted those ones. And I wanted those ones specifically because there's when you shop at Costco, you get like 100 of them.
Oh, God.
You can eat them for a whole week.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you're going to spend less money than if you go and get the crappy ones somewhere else. So I was just pissed. We didn't talk to each other for the whole entire trip, and we're probably still pissed at each other 2 days later. So, you get it level.
Yeah, so got it level. And like I was telling everybody there, like my dad, my grandpa, I was like, yeah, the guy at the old RV place, you know, he said they're going to give us a walkthrough, but it's more like a sprint. Because I don't remember.
Well, they're firing so much stuff at you, which also brings another fun dynamic to the situation. They're firing so much shit at you at once, you're trying to remember everything they're telling you. And then you don't remember some of the stuff, and they're standing there going, well, I think you just do that. Well, I'd kind of like to know that I just do that. Not, I think you just do that. Well, don't you remember what he said? He told you. No, or we wouldn't be standing here chatting about it. And then that brings a whole nother...
another level to it.
Yeah, another level of excitement.
Just getting it from somewhere else.
Exactly.
Because I don't want it from every angle.
So
I was already getting it on the way here.
So you did remember to get everything switched over so you had the water, and you did remember to get everything through the water tank, and so you didn't have any issues there.
You know, hooked up the water, no problem there. Had the regulator, so I hooked up the regulator to the hose. You know, had that all hooked up for the water pressure. Then I got the good shitter hose. Didn't skimp on that. Got
Dude,
that
you
baby
can skimp
hooked
on
up.
everything else. Do not skimp on that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be standing there holding the bag when shit goes south.
Mm-hmm. So had that hooked up, and so you know, I pulled the water on. You know, full that thing full blast. Went in there, turned cold on, let all that nasty pink stuff
Did
spit
you
out
have
of there.
to crawl in underneath the bed where I said I don't think that I could fit in there? It'd be hard
Don't
to turn
spoil the story.
Okay, so
So I turned the cold one on in the sink because that's my pa's like, yeah, just go, you know, turn your sink on and see if you got pressure. So, or water. So I turned the sink on.
at least
cold.
you had your dad there. That would have been
Water. I was like, perfect. And you know, let it run until the pink comes out. Until just got straight water. Boom, perfect. Turn the hot on, and then I was remembering, okay, Pete says something about the bypass, and if there's not water on, something's wrong. So I turn the water on, starts just spitting hot water or spitting water, and I'm like, oh, okay. So and then I let that run until the pink's all out, turn it off. And then I go back in, I go into the shower, did the same with the shower, and so we did all that, and then Dad, my pa was like, well, unhook it and then fill up your tanks because you might have maybe some in those tanks. So I unhooked it and then, you know, filled up the old fresh water, you know, the old fresh tank. About, I was thinking it was like a third full or something, and then ran the pumps and then pumped it all out, and then, you know, didn't turn the water heater on, and then turned water on, water on, water.
Well, that's
water,
water,
water.
bypass, though.
Yeah. So, and then I was like, okay, what did old Pete said something about the bypass?
Because I could just see
it?
you getting the water out of the faucet and then being good to go and firing off your hot water tank with no hot water in it because you don't want to flush that stuff through there because the antifreeze burns out the heating element in the tank.
I was also glad that my dad was there because I was like, man, I wish Pete was here because he'd just be like, yep, all you gotta do is this, flip this on, crawl under there, boom, boom, this, screw that on, bang, you're up and running. And I was just like, yeah, I think we're good. We got water. And my dad's like, well, you don't have water shooting out of your water heater, so you should have water shooting out of that rod that you have to screw in.
It wasn't in there because, yeah.
Correct, because I didn't put it in yet. And I was like, well, was there water shooting out? And he's like, nah, you'd hear it. And so, sure enough, we popped it off, and he's like, there must be something. I was like, okay, Pete said something about a bypass, and we found it underneath the bunk bed. So I lift it up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this thing is ridiculous. So, and I crawled back there, and I'm just saying I had footprints on the fridge because I had to crawl in it, and then like my gut is on the bottom of that bunk bed, and I couldn't touch the ground with my knees and reach it, so I had to crawl in.
Well, yeah.
And I'm like in it, so I'm pushing against the fridge to crawl in there more. And there's like a tag. It's like, okay, bypass this way. So I flipped them. Flipped the cold one on first because there was a cold or a red and a blue one. So I turned the red or the blue one on first. You hear the water whiz up it, and then I turned the red one on and whiz down. And he's like, all right, now test your hot water. And I was like, all right, well, you got to pull me out halfway, at least till my knees are touching, because I can't get out. I'm stuck.
That's why I said I wasn't crawling in there.
Yeah, I was literally stuck. I couldn't wiggle
like
out.
An eagle, and I couldn't reach that thing in there.
I couldn't get out. I was at a weird spot. I was tied up like a pretzel. I could not get out of it. And so I got out, and then that's when I turned the hot water on, and it just did the air pressure.
Oh, yeah.
Spitting like crazy. And I'm like, oh, leave her on until she runs. And we got that all set up. I put the awning out, turned the lights on. We checked all that, and open all the vents, checked the fan. We haven't ran anything because we've never been hooked up. So, but that fan's pretty cool in that bathroom.
Yeah. Well, just having a bathroom in there in general is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's one thing I thought we could skimp on.
No.
I was like, yeah, well, we just get like a porta potty or use like the bathrooms there or something. Nah. No. Terrible decision. Don't ever think that. Anybody in your entire life, don't ever think that. Get a camper with a bathroom inside.
Yep.
You will thank yourself. Because I'm thinking myself.
And there's a shower in there too, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my next point of I tried out that shower. And to Helen's credit, she was on point on this one, and Ricky was up here slipping. I was like, oh yeah, I'll hop in there, I'll try it out. And I was like, what's this little switch thing up on top? I don't get what that thing is. Why would I ever want to turn it off?
I forgot to give you the pro tip.
I want to shower.
You will run out of hot water in a minute.
Real quick. And I'm soap sudded up there, bud. Because it gives you just enough hot water to trick you.
She's probably like,
into thinking you got enough hot water to do the business until you get everything all soap sudded up, and it's just, whoo, okay. Are you guys running hot water out there? Because it's freaking freezing in here. And she's like, that's because it's a small hot water heater.
Yeah, you were there. You were up close and personal with the hot water tank. God. That thing is like as big as a basketball. So you want to like turn it on and get it adjusted, but then shut it off and then soap yourself up and then turn it on and rinse off and then shut it off and then...
Yeah, so I'm in there while that's happening and the shower's not draining. So I'm ankle deep in this water and it's close. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. And luckily, it was cold anyway, so I just shut it off. And I was like, something's wrong. I was like, the water ain't draining. And there's like a screw head in there. I'm like, oh, maybe I gotta like unscrew this little screw head or something and let it drain out. And it's in water. I don't have anything. I'm trying to use my thumb. It's like, no, this ain't working. And I was like, can you check the tank, see if we're full? This was Monday. So, we've been there a couple days. We've been using the water and like out of the sink and stuff. So we were pretty plumb full. And then I'm just using the shower and it's just...
Yeah, because that will happen.
Filling up water.
It'll come back up into the drain.
And it came back up. And it started coming back up. And I was like, and she's like, yeah, it says full. I was like, great. So I'm in shower, soap sudded, and I can't go out and pull the little pull out because she don't want to do it. And I'm like, okay, can you just go out the side? And it's not the big black one. Don't pull the black one. Just pull the little gray one. It's a little one off to the left if you're looking at it. So, she pulled it, and Wyatt's in there, like in the bathroom with me. He's like, did Mama pull it yet? And I can see the water just going.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got it. And then, whoop, I was like, all right, she got it. Nice. And then I hear my dad is like, yeah, we got her pulled for you. I drained them both. I pulled them off, both of them for you. And I was like, well, thanks you're there. Because she walked out like, oh, now I got to go freaking deal with this shit. I told you not to use all the hot water. I'm like, oh, yeah, all right.
So the good news is that I didn't even think about that while telling you all the other things that you were going to run into.
That was a good surprise.
Yeah, so at least that you figured out on your own, but that's one of the minor things is that you'll run out of hot water really fast. Now, I would say that you'll have to keep us updated and let us know on your future endeavors, because that's not the last surprise you're going to have.
No.
That's not the last time that Helen's going to be sitting on the bench, the old arms crossed.
No.
I would say if you didn't get the one finger salute, you did all right, though.
Well, and backing up here, when we came back, that's one shot.
Well, yeah, you had sounds like you had about 50 minutes worth of practice there at the campground.
Boom, that was one shot. I was like, yeah. Ricky's starting to feel pretty better about backing up.
So I'll be looking forward to hearing that, because like I said before you left,
beginning of May might be another excursion.
Nothing will test your guys' marriage strength better than trying to get the RV set up.
That's what I told her. I was like, Pete and Margaret, they told me when we're eating and after everything was set up first night, I was like, well, you know what? We're still married.
She's right, like, what in the hell are you talking about?
And she's just like, well, why wouldn't we be? I was like, well, old Pete and Maggie, they said it really tests your marriage once you get yourself a camper.
Oh.
And boy, howdy, it does test your marriage.
But you made it. It was so it was successful.
It was awesome.
It won't be the last time you guys argue about it, though. I'm just telling you right now. Just wait till she forgets the burgers on your way to. That still chaps my ass. I'll still say from time to time now, did you remember this?
Oh, if we're by the house, I'll go to my paws and go get me a gun and go shoot me something and make me some fresh burger, because I'm like, you improve my...
Only during season with the appropriate licenses, though.
Oh, correct.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not a poacher. Never have. Never will. Booyah. All right. Yeah, I mean, I've got plenty more I could talk about. I mean, fishing, lost a bunch of lures and stuff like that.
And
but
those ain't cheap either.
No, it was starting to get expensive. So that was it for Ricky casting the pole, letting the old little boy take over with his little push button, because I was done.
Expensive.
I was done. But maybe we can save that for a little later episode or something. Maybe a little next trip I can kind of swing back on something, but just kind of do a little loop back to the media, because got an update on Facebook. So like I was saying a little bit at the end, you can now listen to our episodes onto Facebook.
So
now,
right there for you. If you like the page, Shooting It Straight podcast.
Yep.
All future episodes starting at 10 will be loaded up onto the...
Correct. Now 1 through 9, you got to go, which I highly recommend. The last 2, if you're just now catching up with us on the page and just started listening to it and thinking maybe that was our first episode, don't think that, because I would go and I would search these previous episodes, because the 2 just before old Unity were a bit heated. Old Pete, he's a very passionate fella, and he knows his shiz. So
He's an American. Yeah,
and he's a full-blown American, as am I. But I would definitely look in those. You can find that on shootingitstraight.com. That's Shooting It Straight without the G in shooting. So it's just shooting. That takes you right to Podbean. You can go onto Podbean. All of our episodes are onto there. That's been our main headquarters. I'm going to kind of swing over to Facebook, because I can see everybody's on Facebook. So I'll probably stick more to comments and stuff on here instead of more Podbean. But I'm going to...
At least till the Zuckerberg kicks us off.
Right. At least,
that'll happen.
At least until they see our name, like, oh, they made a Facebook.
They're like,
Get him
shut
out of
him
here.
down at Pistol Pete. And
Get him out of here. He said he was a 50 revolver. Get him out of here. So, but, we're still on there. Spotify, TuneIn plus Alexa, iHeartRadio, Player FM, and Pandora. So I did look. We're not on Apple.
We probably were for a second, and then they kicked us off.
Yeah, I'm just going to say we're not on Apple.
Did they tell you we were not on Apple? Because that would be awesome.
I've got an email. We're not on Apple. There's no more accepted, not accepted. It's just we're not on Apple.
I'm gonna have to look at that literature here in a little while.
So no more Apple. YouTube. YouTube's a good spot though.
Speaking of YouTube, you should have had somebody video the backup adventure.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
Yeah, that'd have been terrible.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Hilarious for everybody else.
Yeah, it's too bad. Maybe we'll look into doing that later. All right, anyways.
Yeah. For future endeavors. So YouTube, Shooting It Straight with Pete and Ricky. Look us up on there. And subscribe. Click that subscribe button. Hit the notification. You'll get all the latest and greatest every time I upload one. I kind of have to do a different software now, which I don't know if you saw the YouTube one, but I got the image on there, rolled through, looked pretty good, ran good, so got it pretty well done on that software. A little bit different than what we use for recording. And last but not least, we're on the gram. Shooting it _it_straight. Drop us a DM, comment, maybe send us a photo. Maybe you see something funny along driving down the road or something. Someone pulling something goofy, or I don't know, someone mooning somebody's driving on the road. You find it, throw it on our Instagram. We want to look at it and laugh about it and talk about it. Why not? We need to find some laughs because Pete's having a couple troubles because I'm just letting you guys know, little spoiler alert, this next episode, Pete's going to eat.
Oh, yeah. I was supposed to do it this time, but
he needed a break.
We needed a break, and we wanted to hear about your trip.
He needed a little chuckle.
So that's it for Shooting It Straight. I'm Pistol Pete. Thanks, Ricky.
Thanks, guys.